Hi there, Chris here with another battle report for you all. In this battle report, we have Tyranids versus Eldar. As we venture our way through the dark Gothic millennium, we have Tyranids, the Old Codex, versus Eldar. Mission is the Emperor's Will, deployment Vanguard Strike. Our table's set up. Eldar takes the bottom left quarter. Our objective's right there in the middle. Tyranid's in the opposite corner. And the Tyranid player slaps his objective right inside that little building, trying to be funny. And that's our table. 2 objectives. Eldar. 2 Farseers, the painted one being the Warlord. 2 Warlocks, 2 10-man units of Guardians with 3 Shuriken Cannons, 6 Vipers, each with 2 Shuriken Cannons, and 3 Fire Prisms, and nothing fancy on them. No hollow fields, I think, or anything like that. And that's it for the Eldar forces. Deployment, we deploy around our objective, trying to avoid all those little spore mines that are our side. They're drifting close to our objective. Gonna have to deal with those right away despite whatever the Tyranids deploy. Pretty straightforward. Jetbikes kind of covering the Vipers while the Vipers kind of cover the Prisms. Kind of a standard deployment for my Saim Hann forces. Tyranids led by a Hive Tyrant. Great big unit of Gene Stealers, 20 of them. Hormagaunts, Spore Mines, 2 Carnifexes, all kitted out for bashing. 4 little Ripper bases, another 20-man unit of Gaunts. 7-man unit of Tyranid Warriors with 1 Venom Cannon. And 4 Zoanthropes. 1 by himself and the other 3 I believe are together, or there's 2 together, and 2 and 2 I think is how we would deploy them. But that's 1,500 points of Tyranid warriors and their deployment. Deploy fairly conservatively, kind of spread out. He is kind of concerned about those fire prisms getting first shots off, but there is night fighting on the first turn. You can see he's kind of spread out all over the place. Hive Tyrant up the center, Warriors. Gene Stealers infiltrated up, hiding in the wreckage of the Land Raider. And the Carnifexes are holding down his right flank. Basically going to be the spearhead. Hopefully he can get those Gene Stealers and those Spore Mines in, causing disruption amongst my battle lines. And that's his deployment. Leading into Eldar first turn, he tries to seize the initiative, but fails, thankfully. And so the Eldar begin fanning out. Gonna try and deal with all those little spore mines as quickly as possible. Most of those Jetbike units are gonna target either the Gene Stealers, the Vipers are targeting the Gene Stealers, and the Jetbike squads are targeting the mines. Fire Prism's gonna try and target whatever he can, either the Gene Stealers or the Hormagaunts. I believe he's going to go for those Gene Stealers. That's pretty much it. Fire Prisms are wasting their shots pretty much, shooting into those spore mines, but we managed to eliminate them all. Doesn't seem terribly awesome, but we managed to deal with the Vipers and the Jetbikes and just obliterate 17 of those Gene Stealers. There's only 3 of them left. With combined fire, the Jetbikes, Fire Prism managed to fire off a round at him. Or no, the Fire Prism, took out a Hormagaun. That's what he did. So that leads us into the assault phase, and the Jetbikes just kind of pull back a bit. Tyranid turn 1. Carnifexes surge forward. Gene Stealers kind of regroup and continue to press forward. The Warriors going to follow up in behind the Carnifexes. Hormagaunts kind of surge forward, and the Zoanthrope is going to try and deal with that Fire Prism. Stealers. Poor old Gene Stealers. Now, the previous turn, the Warlock managed to cast the ability where they can't run, and so they don't get the chance to do that. Hormagaunts here managed to run full 6 inches. These guys can't run, so they're just kind of stuck there. Carnifexes run. Basically everything is running except the Tyranid Warrior Squad managed to try and take a shot, but don't manage to hit anything. And that'll lead us back into Eldar turn 2. Jetbikes surging forward, backed up by those fire prisms. They're going to try and deal with those Carnifexes. Farseer is a little bit out of the way to help with some mind war. And the Viper's going to try and help with those Carnifexes as well, and deal with those Gene Stealers. This Jetbike unit surges out, going to engage those Hormagaunts. Going to try and blade storm them to death, backed up by their fire prism on that side. Takes us into the shooting phase. Let's see what happens here. Fire prisms, Jetbikes, and this unit of Vipers managed to wipe out the Carnifexes, and I believe put a wound on one of the Warriors as well. These Vipers managed to wipe out the Gene Stealers, so there's no more Gene Stealers to have to worry about now. And the Fire Prism and the Jetbike, and I believe the Farseer also tried to cast Eldritch Storm, and they managed to take out almost all of those Hormagaunts on that side. I think it was one big unit of 20 of them. I don't know if we killed them all, but managed to just knock them all way back like that. And so in the assault phase, the Jetbikes just merely position themselves further back. Tyranid turn 2. Hormagaunts continue to advance. Hive Tyrant, I'm going to try and use some psychic powers on those bikes. Zoanthropes are going to target the prisms, and these warriors are going to target the Jetbikes. Warriors are going to try and cover that right flank since they're missing their nice big heavy hitters, which is kind of unfortunate. And so they only have the one Venom cannon, and it scatters off the Jetbikes. Zoanthropes target the Vipers. Don't manage to do anything. It was 2 misses on their end. This Zoanthrope shoots at the Fire Prism and ends up periling and giving himself a wound. And so the Warriors try and charge the Jetbikes, fail. The Hive Tyrant, he's like 11 inches out, so it's kind of a dicey chance, and he ends up making the charge. And so the Hive Tyrant, even though he gets that impressive charge off, he only manages to take off 1 hull point off of one of the Vipers. It was kind of crap for him. I was expecting to lose that squad. Jetbikes continue to move forward. The Vipers surround that Hive Tyrant. They're just going to feed it to him. Backed up by those prisms wherever they need to be. These Jetbikes surge forward again, trying to engage more of these Hormagaunts. And the Prism on this end is going to try and take a shot at that Zoanthrope. Make sure we try and get rid of those Warp Blast psychic powers that they have. So annoying. And so the Fire Prisms and the Jetbikes manage to just cripple that unit of Warriors. A whole bunch of them are hurt. And down to like, one guy's got 1 wound on him, the other guy's got 2 wounds on him. The Hive Tyrant gets blown away from all the Viper fire. That's 6 shots per Viper, so you do the math. That Zoanthrope manages to survive. Only 2 little Hormagaunts are left from that horrific blasting that they take from the Jetbike squad. Of course, my Farseers have Eldritch Storm, and they never seem to make it, but oh well. Tyranid turn 3. Hormagaunts trying to find somewhere to be useful. Zoanthropes continue to advance. They're going to try and engage those Fire Prisms. Warriors are surging forward. They're going to try and take out those Jetbikes. Going to try and charge them. And so it leads us into the assault phase. Zoanthrope shoots at the Fire Prism. Doesn't manage to do anything to it. These Zoanthropes shoot at this Fire Prism and don't manage to do anything to it. Just kind of really unfortunate. These Warriors shoot at the Jetbikes and manage to kill 2 of them. And so it leads us into the Tyranid assault phase. Doesn't have to go too far to charge. I think he was like 7 inches out, and he ends up making it. So they're engaged now. And in the assault, they end up losing a guy to the Warlocks and the Warriors. Fire Prism over here is going to try and shoot at the Rippers that are guarding that flag. Prisms and the Vipers engaging the Zoanthropes. And these Jetbikes and the Prism are going to engage these. This is Zoanthrope. Well, it's the Farseer and the Fire Prism that are going to engage the Zoanthrope. These Jetbikes are going to get ready to boost over to try and stop him from collecting 3 victory points from that flag. I don't know if it's entirely necessary, but you know how it goes. You can see here we boosted over. Those little Ripper swarms are just hanging out there. Vipers managed to destroy the Zoanthropes. Again, 6 shots each. Not very funny. And the Fire Prisms don't manage to do anything, even though despite kind of firing dangerously close to stuff. In the assault phase, end up losing another Guardian to the Tyranids, and we managed to hold our own. We don't break. And that'll lead us into the Tyranid turn 4. Rippers merely repositioned to cover that flag a little bit better. And in the assault phase, the Guardians and the Farseer and Warlock managed to kill the last 2 warriors there. Vipers and Fire Prisms continue to advance upwards. Farseer is going to cast Elder Storm on those Rippers, along with that Fire Prism. Going to try and hit a couple of them little guys. And the Jetbike squad is now in position to just kind of lay into that squad of Rippers. One lone warrior left to hold the Eldar advance. The Rippers are like, really, are you shocked that they're all dead? No, I don't think so. And so it leads us into the assault phase. The last warrior ends up dying to the Farseer, and that will be it for the Tyranids. And that will lead us to a Hann victory. It's kind of one-sided. Not a lot of good rolls. But, and he's also fighting with the old codex, so we're going to rematch once he gets his hands on a new codex. So stay tuned for that one. And thanks for watching. Come on now. There we go. Smile. Smile. Be mad. Give me mad. Come on. Teeth.
Only of disappointment. Eat it up. Eat it up, Chris. Eat it up. They start playing hockey with like my unit's team, and they went out and got themselves jocks, but they didn't know that they just thought they were really uncomfortable jocks, and they've been wearing them for a couple of weeks, and they found out they were Jills, so they've been wearing these like girl jock straps. Good guys, but it's hilarious.